Jansen.
That usually gets a couple of chuckles there. You always follow somebody who's not quite as tall as I am. First of all, though, Dr. Zernicki, I do need to clarify, we do not mention the words, I can't even say it myself, OSU on campus. It's the team from Ohio. And we know that you would by no means wear their colors here this evening. Thank you all for allowing me to share this tremendous moment with you. As was mentioned earlier, I did graduate 15 years ago. It's hard to believe it's been that long. What you've accomplished here is a tremendous accomplishment, and you will appreciate this more every year since this moment. And one of the things that you need to do this evening or this weekend is think about the folks that have helped you, whether it's a faculty member, administrator, parent, friend, some family member, and make a list and thank them, because nobody has gotten to this point without some help and assistance. And if it's mom and dad, and if you're in the crowd now, I'm sure you'll appreciate this. I'm a parent now as well. Give them a hug. And guys, it's okay to give dad a hug. It's okay to give mom a hug. We won't hold anything against you. I was a physical education major, not a public speaker. I was a football player. Again, not a public speaker. So I would like to have everybody right now stand up. That's all of our graduates, everybody in the crowd. If you're in here right now, please stand up. Now, I was going to play a joke and say everybody clap their hands and it would be my standing ovation, but I won't do that. But if you have room around you and you're able to, I would like you, and the graduates, without losing your cap, I would like you to bend over and touch your toes. A little trick I learned in public speaking was make somebody do something funny, and it makes it a little bit easier for me. Not what I'm after right now, but still did the job. Now I'd like to have everybody stand up on their toes and turn around in place. All right, now safely resume your seats. One of the things that I learned while at Michigan was how to perform tests. One of the things I do in my CrossFit gym right now is perform physical tests on people to see how well they move. Now, I didn't get a chance to get a good look at everybody. I did pick out a couple of people. And when you bend over and touch your toes, obviously I get a chance to see if you have tight hamstrings. When you stand up on your toes and you twirl in a circle, I get a chance to check on your balance. When you sit down or stand up like we did, I get a chance to see how well you squat. What I do is try and help people move better. If they can move better and create better movement patterns in my gym, then when they go out into their daily lives, they will hopefully continue those movement patterns and continue to move well. When I watch and see somebody with tight hamstrings or with poor balance, I know how to treat them when they come into my gym. Not everybody's the same, not everybody's built the same. The movement patterns should be similar in all circumstances, but all of those tests, I learned how to administer them here at the University of Michigan. Now, I was talking with Pat Van earlier, and the subject of what I learned here at Michigan came up, and I told her a tremendous amount. But one of the things that I did take in an exercise physiology class was the ability to use the calipers and fat test and come up with body fat percentages. And I was thinking to myself at that time, I'm a football player, what in the heck am I going to ever use this for? We recently, at our gym, instituted a program through the county, in the county of Northern Michigan, where we have a health and wellness program and go around and do a 10-week program. We test them at the beginning of the year, at the beginning of the 10 weeks, and we test them at the end of that 10 weeks. And for the county, the incentive that they have is if they make progress in their weight, their body fat percentage, or a couple of other markers, they get a bonus. And I was actually fat testing somebody, and I thought to myself, thanks, Pat. I can now do this. I can directly apply what I learned here in my profession now, in my former life as a professional football player, my knowledge of how people learn, seeing, hearing, doing, creating a curriculum, creating a lesson plan, and presenting it to my athletes, and presenting it in a way where they can repeat what I want them to repeat. The one skill that I learned, not only here in the classroom, on the football field, and in a lot of different events that I had at the university and through my time in the NFL, was the ability to be a leader. And our fight song says it best, leaders and best, is what Wolverines are supposed to be. I had a coach in my first few years in the NFL, Marty Schottenheimer. The first time that I walked into his office, he never referred to me as John or as Mr. Jansen, which would have been nice. But he referred to me as Wolverine, which was, in my opinion, even greater. A greater compliment than I could have ever asked for in an initial meeting. And he said, you know what, John? He said, I like Wolverines. I like having Wolverines on my team because they're not afraid to be leaders. And it got me thinking at that time. I had been a captain at Michigan. I had been a captain with the Redskins for a few years. What makes a good leader just that? What makes them good? There's a lot of people that want to be leaders. All of you graduates right now are leaders in one way or another. You could not have made it to this point without having some or all of these traits. Leaders believe in themselves. They know what they believe in, and they stand up for it. Believe in your abilities. I had a coach come up to me after my first couple of years in the NFL, and he said, you know, I had bought a home, I started to raise my family there. He said, what are you going to do if you get cut? And I thought to myself, well, gosh, Coach, the thought never entered my mind. And it's not that it was cocky, and I wasn't boasting to him, but it was the fact that I believed in my abilities. I believed what Coach Carr and all of my coaches had taught me. I believed in the confidence that I gained by getting my degree from the University of Michigan. Leaders are not afraid of change. I eventually did get cut, which is now why I'm standing here talking to you. And they're not afraid to reinvent themselves. I am working on my public speaking abilities. I had 6 different head coaches when I was with the Redskins. They all expected something different. I had coaches from Joe Gibbs, Marty Schottenheimer, Steve Spurrier. They all ranged in their expectations of me. I was able to adapt and remain captain of their team. Leaders need to be good communicators. You need to be able to express your expectations, not only of yourself, but of your teammates or your classmates or co-workers. You need to have a good work ethic. You need to understand how things should be done and be able to communicate that to others. And you should also be able to answer these questions when asked. What am I trying to do? When does it need to be done? Where am I doing it? Why? And how am I going to accomplish this? And how am I going to get those around me to help me do that? Leaders need to be honest and trustworthy. Never wavering in what you do, say, or promise. If you say you're going to be there, be there. If you're going to say you're going to do something, then do it. Leaders need to be confident. I mentioned this earlier, not cocky or boastful. I remember when I was a freshman, and this is as I was learning some of these traits, we were playing that team down in Ohio, in the state of Ohio. And it was a crucial 4th down situation. We needed a first down. Andy Katzenmoyer, some of you football fans may remember that name, was their linebacker at the time, freshman, we were in the same class. And I had come to the sideline and I told Coach a play that we had run many, many times. Some success, some not success. I said, Coach, if you call that this time, I'm going to get you that first down. And that is the confidence that I had as a player and the confidence that my coaches had in me and in my teammates. I wasn't going to make that block alone. I wasn't going to set it up. I couldn't hand the ball off to the running back. I certainly wasn't going to be able to run with the ball. Leaders need to act and not talk, or at least talk less. We had a free agent when I was in the NFL come in, and all he wanted to do was talk about how he was going to change our team, how he was going to get us to the Super Bowl, how he was going to do this, how he was going to do that. And we finally had to sit him down and tell him, you know what, every time you talk, I get a headache. And I said, you know what, don't tell me what you're going to do. Show me what you're going to do. I need to see action. Coach Moeller, my freshman year, said, what you do speaks so loud, there's no need to hear what you have to say. Your actions speak much louder than anything you'll ever have to say. Leaders set the standard. They work out on time. In my previous life, in terms of football, we had workouts, we had film time, we had performance standards. Everyone will always measure themselves against you. When you leave here today with that Michigan Wolverine diploma, you will always be the one that people look to and say, how do they do it in Ann Arbor? How are they going to do it here? And that is something that you will continue to set the standard as you move forward. There's going to be industry leaders in here, people that will always continue to set the standard in everything that they do. A leader's presence is felt even when they're not around. Both in football and in business, there are no real secrets. Everything will be found out in time. If you're a fraud, your teammates, your classmates, your co-workers will always be able to find that out. You could not have made it this far by being a fraud. Another way of saying that your presence will be felt even if you're not there is accountability. The accountability that you have to your peers, the accountability you have to your boss, the accountability you have to your future employees. Finally, a leader performs under pressure. Check that. A leader excels under pressure. There are times, I'm sure, in your college career where you had a big test, probably your first Blue Book exam, and you were trying to figure out if you were actually going to walk across the diag or not. And you excel in that situation. All of these qualities make up a good leader. They did when I was playing, and even more so now that I own my own company and I employ my own individuals. I want to find people like you guys that can think for themselves, can understand the vision of a company, and have the initiative to go out there and the leadership to perform and do just that. As you graduate today, and you all turn professional, be proud to be a Wolverine. Don't be afraid to lead. Everyone is looking for you to be leaders and best. Congratulations and good luck.